Hello dear student, welcome to our OPSC Mains Answer Writing program from 0 to OPSC toppers in just 100 days. So today we are going to see about few previous year mains question of OPSC, and from there we will try to analyze how we can generate the point, how we can split the question into multiple parts. Already I have made a video about this strategy, about how you are going to write the answer. Please watch that video, and after that you can watch this video to understand. There I have given the basics, and gradually I am going to provide the topic wise basics, so that is going to be very helpful, and it is my promise in the 100 days you will have exceptional level of answer writing skills. ठीक है, चलिए शुरू करते हैं. सो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस इन द एज ऑफ क्लाइमेट चेंज. In the age of climate change and global warming play a critical role in melting of the snow and ice cover. Discuss with suitable example. Here we have to give lot of examples because the question itself is asking example. If you are not giving example, so then you will not get good marks. Here the keywords is climate change. Here the keywords is global warming. So we should start our answer writing to define these two keywords. Now you have to divide what is climate change and what is global warming. Then you have to link what is the linkage between the global warming with the climate change. Okay. Then we have to talk about, this is what first we have to define and then find a linkage between them. Then we have to discuss the critical role of the the global warming role in melting of the snow and ice. That is what we have to discuss. Okay, and while discussing we have to give examples. So first we are going to discuss the climate change. You can see here climate change referred to the long term shift in the temperature and weather pattern, so driven by human activity. We are here not concerned about natural activity because natural activities you can say we can ignore that as compared to the human activity, while global warming denote the specific rise in earth average temperature due to accumulation of the greenhouse gas. So over a period of time since industrial revolution, so we have emitted so many carbon, so much carbon dioxide, other greenhouse gas, that our temperature has been rising constantly. Okay, so after that whatever we are saying we should give a fact to show that. As for the intergovernmental panel climate change, so IPCC report assessment 6, we are seeing that 1.1 degree rise in earth temperature post industrial revolution. So that is what clearly showing yes, global warming is there and climate change is also driven. So we can say that climate change is responsible for global warming is bringing about the climate change. Okay, or same thing we can say about the climate change is also reinforcing the global warming. So there is a dual way relationship between them. So next we are going to see reason. So this is not the core demand of the question, but we have to show that what are the reason for this climate change. Climate change कौन ପାଇଁ होची हमको कहबाकू पड़िबो. So you can write that in a diagram format also, like this you can write if possible. Like that is what called half moon diagram. You can draw a half moon diagram and write like that, because this is not the core demand but to show that their linkage. Okay? First we can say the greenhouse gas emission. So anthropogenic carbon dioxide emission cross 420 ppm parts per million. So this is highest in the 8 lakh year. So in past history, so the current level of carbon dioxide equivalent is highest in the history. So that means we are emitting so much of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So this is the main reason. Next is deforestation. So trees are generally apt like a sink to absorb all this carbon dioxide. But what we are doing, we are not only emitting carbon dioxide, we are also removing all these sinks. The tree otherwise sink lot of, or we can say absorb a lot of carbon dioxide. So that is what the problem. Each year we are cutting 1 crore trees. You can see it, 1 crore hectares of forest annually, reducing the carbon sink, accelerating the global warming. Next is industrialization and energy use. So we need ACs, we need a lot of powers machines. So for that we are burning a lot of coal energy. For example, 75% of the global greenhouse gas emission, so this is coming from the coal, oil and gas. So because of burning of the fossil fuel. So next you can talk about the agriculture. I think you know about the agriculture. A lot of methane is emitted. For example, in paddy cultivation we are flooding the field. If it is not having proper ventilation, then a lot of methane can be emitted. Then same thing happen with the agriculture. For example, the cattle industry also. So we can say the methane is emitted from paddy cultivation and cattle, and you know that methane is 80 times more global warming potential than the carbon dioxide. So that means if you are emitting 1 tons of methane, then it is 80 times effective. If you are emitting 80 tons of carbon dioxide and 1 tons of methane, so they both are equal. Just imagine how it is negatively impacting. So next one is about the urbanization and transport. So in urbanization we need cities. So to cool that cities we are designing building in a way, so it's a lot of heat. So we can say rapid vehicle growth and a concrete jungle. So in our cities we are creating concrete jungles. So they lead lot of, they trap lot of heats. There is not proper ventilation of air. So that is the reason heat is building up the air. So amplifying the regional warming and emissions. So that is what we have established, that reason. What are the reason for climate change here? So you can just write in this diagram also short format, just to show that this is the reason for climate change. Okay, next we are going to see role of how, this is the core demand of the question. Here we are going to see how the global warming actually melt the snow and glacier. So you can see about the Himalayan. So best thing to start that is identify from where different region of the world the glacier is there, and then you have to identify what are the how the climate change global warming is responsible for melting of that glacier. So first we have identified that Himalaya is rich in terms of glacier. So we can talk of Gangotri glacier retreating 2.2 meter per year. So this is what study by ICI mod, or you can say the IPCC also. They have think that if they find that if 1.5 degree temperature is rise in the pre-industrial level, then 1/3 of our glacier will melt in the Himalaya. Just imagine what kind of consequences it is going to be have. So next is Arctic ice. So I think आपको पता होगा in northern hemisphere it is called Arctic. So Arctic ice is also playing important role in cryosphere. Cryosphere means snow and ice. So it is also reducing 13% per decade. So particularly during summer season. So if our area is permanently covered with snow, if they are melted, then it is exposed to the, then it melt and form the water, and water will absorb lot of it, but snow will reflect back lot of light. So if there is a snow, then temperature will be not built up. But if snow is melt and water is formed, in that case then water will trap lot of it, and that area temperature will be rise very fast. If in equatorial area temperature rise is let's say 1 degree, but in the Arctic area temperature rise is 4-5 degree. So let's say earlier temperature used to be minus 30 degree, but now temperature is decreasing, or you can say temperature is increasing to minus 26. So there is a 4 degree drop, you can increase in the temperature. So that is what called Arctic amplification, because global warming is more felt at the Arctic and Antarctica. So this keywords is very important. While you are writing your answer, you need to drop these keywords and underline that. So next is Greenland and Antarctic ice sheet. So Greenland is the largest land area covering with the permanent snow. So Greenland loses 270 billion tons of ice yearly, major driver of sea level rise. Just imagine. So Greenland is actually contributing significant fresh water for sea level to rise and cause inundation of our coastal area. So next is albedo feedback loop. So if it is snow, if sunlight is striking, then 90% of it is reflecting back. This is what called snow or ice. But in case of water, if it is sunlight is striking, so 60% will be reflect back, 40% will be absorbed. So because of that, in ocean it will be rapid rise in temperature also. So melting white ice exposed to the darker ocean or sea, land absorbing more heat and accelerating further melt. So that is what you have to write. Next is glacial lake outburst. So आपको पता होगा, I think तुम्हें जानी थी वो, whenever there is a big snow standing one over another, if in bottom of that snow, if it is melt down, then entire snow will be collapse. So that is what led to the reducing the thickness of our snow, na? So this is what you can talk about, and that is what creating problem also. Next is permafrost thawing. So in land is in Arctic or Antarctica area, the land is permanently frozen. If that is exposed because of climate change or global warming, if it is melting, so that is also led to the you can say damaging to the infrastructure, and then entire system will be collapsed. So there will be no permafrost also, and that land area will expose to the sunlight, and it will increase the temperature gradually. So that is what called Arctic amplification. Then sea level rise, so combine ice melt and thermal expansion. Thermal expansion means whenever you heat the water will expand. One, we are adding water because of melting of the snow and ice. Now water is also expanding. Just imagine what kind of consequences will have. So it will be led to the flooding of our low-lying coastal area. Okay, so coastal city like Mumbai, Kolkata, and small island nation, they will face the problem. You can say about Maldives. So the small island states, it's called SIDS, small islands developing states. It's called SIDS, small island developing states. So definitely it will also lead to the water security threat, because the Himalayan system, it is supporting livelihood for 2 million people. It is providing fresh water, agriculture, irrigation for agriculture in Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, other countries of Southeast Asia also. So that is what creating problem of water crisis. Okay? This is the way you have to split. This is the way you have to generate the point. So you should understand that. So So the next is way forward. So if problem is there, then what kind of solution we are going to see. Before discussing that, dear student, we are also conducting a mains answer writing, you can say mains test series and mentorship program. It's called Lakshya Mains program. So here you will get the test series, so daily basis and weekly half length test. Then we are also providing full length test also. Detail you can see 42 daily test, 8 half length, 8 full length, 8 essay also we are providing. We are also focusing Odisha specific questions, so you'll get not only test series, you'll get the mentorship from me. Saturday, Sunday, we are going to discuss how you are going to frame this question in this way. So that is going to be very helpful to write a very good way. So don't waste your time, don't do experiment. You can join it, and the description, the link of this course is given in the description box. Please check out, or in the comment box also it is given. Please check out. So what are the way forward we can do? We can do the energy transition. So scale of the solar, wind and green hydrogen, so that we can achieve the greening of our target 500 gigawatt by 2030. Then global warming is a global problem. One country cannot solve it. So what we can do, we can have international cooperation at the international level. For example, Paris Agreement, then operationalize the loss and damage fund. So this loss and damage fund we have established in Lima Conference of Party, okay, 2013. So next we can talk about, afforestation and carbon sink. We can sink, create, first of all we need to plant the tree, and tree can absorb a lot of carbon dioxide. So it will reduce the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and store in the trees. So glacier and cryosphere monitoring. So we need to monitor constantly, so that to prevent any glacial like outburst or any sudden incident. So suitable, sustainable lifestyle. A sustainable lifestyle talk about by our honorable Prime Minister. Life means lifestyle for environment, energy efficiency and circular economy we need to promote. Okay, so then at the end you have to conclude the melting of the cryosphere is both warning as well as calls to act, limiting global temperature by 1.5 degrees. So this is the problem. We have to act fast, otherwise it will be too late to act. So that is what it is talking. So we need to have urgent mitigation. Mitigation means action that we need to take to reduce its effect. And climate finance, collective global responsibility is essential to safeguard water scarcity, coastal community and ecological balance for future generations. So here in conclusion we have to talk that this is an urgent action we have to take, otherwise it is too late to act. So it's irreversible damage, so we have to act fast, otherwise there will be no time. So that is what you have to write. If you are writing like that, you will get very good marks. So stay tuned with me. So like that we are going to provide more videos. So second question that we are going to discuss, critically analyze the examples. What are the tangible heritage and intangible heritage in the context of Odisha? So what do you mean by tangible heritage? So that can be touch, that can be physical things is called tangible. Intangible, that cannot be touched. My idea, my festival celebration, this is what called intangible. So we have to define. In this question we have to introduce by defining what is tangible, what is intangible. So tangible heritage are the physical material assets of historical and cultural value. So intangibles are what? They are comprising of living tradition, oral expression, performing arts, rituals and craftsmanship passes across the generation. And Odisha is having a long history starting from the very ancient period. So it is rich repository of both blend of the you can say about the tangible as well as intangible cultural heritage. So you have to express that to show that Odisha is rich. And next part we are going to discuss about the tangible cultural heritage of Odisha, so that we can touch. So first one is Konark temple. So you can talk about it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So 13th century Kalinga, shaped by the it's a sun chariot. So Suryankara amara ratha vali dikha jautila. So this is very unique. So if you look into it's one of the best temple that is ever built. So next one is Jagannath Puri temple. You can discuss of that also. 12th century shrine. So one of the 4 dham. So tell me in the comment box what are the other 3 dhams of India. So next is Lingaraj temple of Bhubaneswar. It is also very good. So you have to discuss that as well. Then Udaygiri Khandagiri. So it's a Jain temple. So there Jain cave, not temple. So there is a it has been constructed by the King Kharavada. Then you have to discuss about the Ratnagiri, Udaygiri, Lalitgiri. This is what called diamond triangle. So Buddhist monastic complex showing Mahayana and Vajrayana heritage. So it is being believed that the Vajrayana Buddhism is originate from here. So next is Mukteshwar temple, Radharani temple of Bhubaneswar. So these are part of the tangible cultural heritage. So then Chaushati Yogini temple in Hirapur. Then you can talk about the Varavati fort in Cuttack. Any other things that you think big structure that can be touched, that can be perceived, you can write here as a tangible cultural heritage. So tell me in the comment box what else we can write here. Definitely let me see how many of you are knowing that. So next we are going to see intangible cultural heritage. So first one is famous Odissi dance. So it is one of the classical dance. Tell me in the comment box how many classical dance are there. There are 8 classical dance. Out of that Odissi is one of them. So it is having origin from the Maharis and Gotipua. So the I think you all know about the dance Maharis and Gotipua. So Ratha Yatra is famous all over the world. The chariot festival, all over the people, they come to experience the divinity of this Ratha Yatra. Then Patachitra painting. So it is a GI tag form. So tell me in the comment box which village is famous for this Patachitra painting. Okay. Then Pipli Aplik work, so it is also GI tag, historical link to the temples, rituals and Rath Yatra. So Odisha culture is basically revolving around Rath Yatra, okay, the Jagannath and Rath Yatra. Then Sambalpuri Ikat's textile or sari is quite famous. So I know that in my family, so they always talk about Sambalpuri sari, so it's quite famous. And now tie and dye weaving tradition, so it is also GI tagged. Then sand art, I think already you know about the Sudarshan Patnaik, the famous Sudarshan Patnaik and its sand art, so you can talk about that. Next is Gotipua and Chau dance. So Chau dance is part of the UNESCO intangible cultural heritage also, so you have to discuss these things. Then oral and culinary traditions, for example, the Jagannath Mahaprasad, the abada is famous all over the world, so I think it's a mouth watering, very delicious food. So cooking and Bhakti era poetry, the Panchashakha, so they are also famous. So the Bhakti of Gita Govinda of Jaidava, so they are also famous all over the Odisha. Okay? So benefit of why we need to understand, why we need to preserve our the rich intangible and tangible cultural heritage, because it is having economic benefit. It is attracting lot of tourists. It is giving Odisha a economic value. For example, Patachitra painting are famous all over the world. So some of the Sambalpuri sari we can export to earn money, and that can help to improving livelihood of our people. So next is cultural identity. It is giving Odisha unique identity. This is called best kept secret of India. So that is what possible. That is what giving pride, social cohesion, sense of unity, brotherhood among the people of Odisha. It is promoting soft power and diplomacy. So if people will come here and experience our hockey match, they will experience our food habit, they definitely pakhal bhat. So definitely that is what bind them, and they will come here, and whenever you go to foreign country, they will say, oh, I know Odisha, that's famous for pakhal bhat, chena pado. They will realize that is what promote our soft power. Then livelihood and craft, okay, because GI tag product, it given exclusive right and branding to international level. So that is what helpful for our traditional weaver to get money and get a livelihood out of that. So next is education and research. So heritage sites and traditions serve as a living resource for history, art and architecture. So we can study about our history, we can study about some of the regressive practice, some of the good practice, evolution, tribal culture. So that can be helpful for finding solutions to the present day problem we are facing. For example, intolerance, we can learn from the Buddhism, how Buddhism is talking about tolerance, respect. Okay? So that is what helpful for studying the history also. So here we can conclude Odisha heritage present a seamless fusion of stones. Stones means tangible and spirit means intangibles. So monuments, temples standing along with the living traditions, dance, craft and devotions, preserving and promoting duals legacy through documentation, conservation and community participation is vital in sustaining state's cultural soul for future generations. So it is our responsibility to preserve, protect our cultural heritage for our future generation, so they can learn the rich heritage of Odisha. So dear student, this is about the 2 question. Daily basis we are going to provide either 2 question, or I am going to a strategy session how you should prepare for the OPSC main. So dear student, your feedback is very essential. That really motivate me. Whatever may be the problem, if it is good, bad, what things you want, definitely you should write in the comment box. So definitely I'll try to incorporate all these things in my video. So that is going to be very helpful, and it is my promise, if you are following this video for next 100 days, it is my promise you will not face any problem in your mains. So this, as the name suggests, this is a 100 days program from 0 to OPSC topper. You will be the next topper if you follow this video for next 100 days. Chalo dear student, bye bye, take care, Jai Hind.